There we go. This is a bit of a retrospective over some work that we did recently. It's a kind of a classic rags to riches style story. It's nothing really groundbreaking, but hopefully it gives some people something to think about potentially. So we've been working with a client through an MVP. They wanted to try out a new style of web application that they wanted to start deploying. And we started to run into a few issues whereby the deployments themselves were becoming unpredictable. The rollback that we had to try and enact if things went wrong was becoming problematic, and that we were getting bidden by things that we thought would save us. So we had the usual controlled and uncontrolled environments, the dev, the pre-prod and the prod, and we would get closer to prod and realise that prod wasn't set up in the same way as pre-prod or dev. There'd be a WAF suddenly in our way and we would be in lots of trouble. That manifested itself in risk aversion, and more often than not, as much as to our dismay, all the effort that we were putting into this new way of deploying and building web applications, that the business and the sponsors of the program associated change with downtime. So we needed a solution. We decided to pick up a blue-green style, and that for anybody that hasn't done a blue-green style, which I'm sure few people here, it's a very sort of simple approach whereby we have sort of 2 folders per environment. I think people might even interchange the colors that they use, and there's the basic concept of a router which will direct end users to the live environment, allowing us to then deploy to the non-live environment so we can conduct some testing. The beauty of this is that when we increment a version, we can deploy into the same environment without actually impacting any end users. The result is simply we can start repeating. So if we've deployed 1.1, we've now made that live, we can then query the router again and then start deploying 1.2. So each time we're continuously deploying code into different environments, flipping over the roles between the end users coming from the web and our test people, able to verify what's going on there. And it starts to focus the mind a little bit in terms of environment parity. In order to do this, on the basis that configuration is generally probably quite a cheap thing, having the environment set up in a particular way to enable us to do this requires a little bit of engineering, but the benefits, as we shall see in a second, are quite compelling. Here is a chart. It's a genuine chart. I've masked the colours here a little bit. These are actually multiple. You might even see the lines if you're close enough. These are actually different types of applications that have been deployed into production, actually, not pre-prod or the dev environments. Obviously, we've put an X on the map here in terms of the configuration management and deploy tool that we were using, and since that went live and the tool became available and the word got out, then you can see obviously that the number of deployments and the frequency has shot up. But the tech aside, there were some, given the fact that we were hearing things like that changes mean downtime, the few different items that came up. So because we templated out, and templating an application and architecture is quite a difficult thing, requires a lot of fiddly changes. Once we had a template in place, we were making the right thing easy. So lots of projects were able to benefit from actually what we were doing. We recognised who our customers were, and we found who really had the problem, which was the business. And as soon as we did that, they started to see value straight away. So where there's a requirement, quite typically there's some value there, which we learned the hard way in some cases. And sharing is caring. We were able to work in a unsiloed, cross-functional way, all those kind of good things, and build up a solution that was successful for everybody. And our success followed from the fact that we were confident that releases would happen in a timely way. Thanks very much.